All right, here we go. Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles now, and we're live right here on Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you, and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, we greatly appreciate all of you for making today's Eagles Now a part of your day. Producer Jake Chipper on the ones and twos. You'll see him and you'll hear from him throughout the program, and there's a lot to get into as we're going to talk about and chop it up with the latest Eagles news and analysis heading into this Week 14 game as the Birds host the Carolina Panthers. So with that, we take a look at the Eagles Now rundown. Here's everything that's on tap. We're going to preview this game against the Carolina Panthers. I have to say, Carolina, a little bit of a feisty team over the last couple of weeks, and Bryce Young, he's made some improvements. We'll take a look at the Eagles' playoff path and break down some clinching scenarios because Philadelphia can clinch a playoff spot in the NFC coming up on Sunday at the Link. Two monster moves that have changed the course of this Eagles organization, and we'll round out with the mailbag. So start getting your questions in right now. Use the hashtag Eagles or send in a super chat. We'll open up the floor and we'll take all of your questions. But also, if you have a hot take, if you have some analysis, you could pass that along down in the comment section as well. Speaking of this Week 14 game, Philadelphia at home, South Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field. 1 p.m. Eastern is when this game will get underway, 10 a.m. out on the West Coast. And producer Chip pointed this out before the show, and we were talking about this line. Philadelphia minus 13. That is a large number in the National Football League because oftentimes these games are decided by one score or less. Philadelphia has been rolling, looking for 9 victories in a row, and the over-under set at 46. A programming reminder, myself, Chip, we will be live for our Eagles-Panthers watch party. Our show gets underway an hour before kickoff. We'll dissect this game, pass along some keys, preview it in the lead-up to kickoff, and then once the game gets underway, the best place to experience an Eagles game day outside of being at the actual game, live play-by-play, audience interaction, super chat giveaways, instant reactions, and then after the game, as we always do, we'll provide you with the post-game show. Let's get the comment section going here. We're emanating live from Studio H in the Chat Sports Studios, but where is the Bird Gang? Let me know down below. We'll start to give you some shout-outs, and then we'll get to our sponsor here coming up just around the corner. Go Birds 21 saying Philly. Our guy Dragon is tuned in from Serbia. Ernesto, always rocking with us from Tucson, Arizona. Cool Rains from Australia. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Kane Angel. We just went across the Pacific Ocean. Now we'll go across the Atlantic to England. Eric Camper. Chase, we have the Quintanamo jersey. We're going to the Eagles-Steelers game. Go Birds, F Dallas. My man, you already know. Alan, Romania, Europe. This is the largest independently run Eagles channel right here on YouTube, approaching 100,000 subscribers, and it's a worldwide Eagles channel. Continue to let us know where you're watching the show from, and thanks as always for your support. As you venture in here, please make sure you hit that thumbs up icon and you like the video. We're up to 220 people watching live, only 44 likes. Where are the real ones at? If you're ready to talk some birds, smash that thumbs up icon. The more likes that we get, the more people who find the stream, the more Eagles fans we get in here, and the more fun that we'll have. Our sponsor for today's show, our friends at Game Time. If you're looking for the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed, an app that has a great user interface and user experience, download the Game Time app. What's awesome about Game Time is that if you're busy like I am and you can't plan that much ahead in advance, the more that you wait until the start of the game, the more that prices drop. I also love their flash deals and zone deals. What's cool is that you can also see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. I'm very particular about the vantage point that I get when I go to a sporting event. If you're in the 100 section, you want to know what you're going to be seeing, right? If you're at Lincoln Financial Field, Game Time gives you that option. And it's so much better than all of the apps in what is a crowded marketplace in the ticketing marketplace. Plenty of tickets available for Panthers Eagles in Philadelphia on Sunday. If you can't hang out here on our watch party and you want to go to the game, here's how you can save some cash and have a great experience with some fellow Birds fans. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. It's also not just an app for sporting events. You can go to concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and a whole lot more. So we'll put that link down below in the comment section and in the description of today's show. What time is it? Game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the sponsor for today's show. As for the Eagles injury report, we'll dive more into this coming up here in a bit. Blankenship did not participate in practice today, suffered that concussion against Baltimore. A sign of a very well-coached defense. When a player goes out, defense doesn't miss a beat, and you have to get creative and you have to make some adjustments. Vic Fangio did that. Tristan McCullum came in, played good ball, almost intercepted Lamar Jackson, but Blankenship has been one of the top safeties in the NFL this year. So if he can't go for Philadelphia, even though the Panthers are the opponent, could hurt this Eagles defense. Dallas Goedert not participating in practice, could miss a couple of weeks with a knee injury. Devontae Smith, though, he's missed the last 2 games. Rams, Ravens, he was a full participant today. So this Eagles passing game should be up to full health. Darius Slay, concussion. He was also on the practice field. So, too, was the rookie wide receiver in Johnny Wilson with that hamstring injury. Here's our Super Chat menu, by the way. Always trying to have fun here on the show. Anytime I'm in front of this camera, we want to give you coverage and Eagles talk that is informative, insightful, entertaining, thought-provoking, but we also like to get down and have some fun. So all Super Chats will get a shout-out. Every $20 that we get in total, we're doing an Eagles chant. We want to make the company that is next to us here at the Chat Sports Studios go crazy on this Wednesday, December 4th. If we get $50 in total Super Chats, myself and Chip will sing "No One Likes Us, We Don't Care," Dennis Design's favorite. I saw him in the chat a little bit earlier. If we get $100 in total Super Chats, I have 2 new guys here, Brett Alper, Nick Lopez. One is a Cowboys fan. The other is a Patriots fan. They will have to come on screen and we will have to sing the Fly Eagles Fly fight song. Really want to make them do that as part of their initiation. Not going to really haze them because cancel culture is a thing. And if we get to $200 in Super Chats, I will take down a beer boot. 3 beers, 1 boot. Let's do it. Let's have a day. Also, another reminder, doing that mailbag, segment number 4, use the hashtag Eagles or send in a Super Chat. If you send in a Super Chat, you skip the line and we'll answer your questions first. If you're ready to talk some birds, we have more than 200 people hanging out, 67 likes. I want you to smash that thumbs up icon and like the video. Let's get to 100 likes. I have the bosses in my ear right now, and they're saying, Chase, you're braggadocious. Eagles fans are loud. You always say that Philadelphia fans aren't always so negative, even though they're portrayed that way in the media, but yet you only have 73 likes on the stream now. So let's prove the bosses wrong. Hit that thumbs up icon, like the video if you're ready to talk some Eagles, and let's shut the bosses up because I don't want to hear any of that noise because we're passionate, we bring the heat, and the birds are rolling. Lori Papas with the $20 Super Chat. Chase and Chip rock. Lori, you rock. We'll pop that Super Chat up here on the screen. And you know who's going to do that? Producer Chip, who you'll hear from in just a moment. So, Lori, thank you for that. We're $20 toward our initiation for the new guys, $100 in total. They're going to have to come on camera live and sing the Fly Eagles Fly fight song. A Cowboys fan and a Patriots fan. We hate the Cowboys, F Dallas, and we beat the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 52. Lori, Chase and Chip rock. Thank you for that. Everybody type LP down in the comment section right now. We do appreciate that. As for Nomada Estansada, what is the bad news? The bad news is Blankenship, Dallas Goedert, not practicing today. We'll get to that coming up here in our preview. We can't spill the beans already. We just started the show, and the official show hasn't gotten underway. We are 1 like away from 100. Who's going to get us to the Benji Franklin number? Who's going to do it? We're at 99 likes. Chip, who's going to do it?
Come on, baby. 1 like away. 1 like away.
Once we get to 100, we're starting the show. Boom. We got there. And Lori with the 20. You know what that means?
E-A-G-L-E. S
Eagles! Every $20 super chat that we get, we're doing an Eagles chant. We want to make the company behind us go crazy, and then we have the Cowboys and the Patriots fan here. Two new guys who are starting this week. We got to show them what's up. Dro with the $10 super chat. So we're up to 30. We're 70 away from the new guy singing the Eagles song. What is going on with the no calls with the holding along our defensive line, especially the bread man, Jalen Carter? Every game you see him in a damn headlock on damn near every snap, yet he still balls out. Go Birds. You know, it's interesting that you brought that up because I saw a tweet a little bit earlier, and let me see if I can find it here, because it was the plus minus on penalties that have been called against the Eagles and how they fared in that department. And when we're watching that Ravens game live, it was pretty wild to see how often Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and some of the interior Eagles defensive linemen were getting held. By the way, Brandon Graham underwent successful surgery, 4 to 6 month timeline there. I think I saw that the Eagles are minus 31 in the plus minus penalties. And you're right, Jalen Carter is so dominant, as evidenced by him getting double teamed and him just bullying interior offensive linemen, that it's pretty incredible how these penalties aren't called. I mean, it's not like they're penalties and holds where the interior offensive lineman is locked up with him like this. They are grabbing his jersey. They are wrapping him around the neck, trying to protect their quarterback. But at the same time, those penalties should be called. Did we get a 10 from Romeo, or is that just from Joe? Okay, so Dro, thank you for that super chat. You know, sometimes what happens is that when you politicize this in a certain degree and you put that word out there, you sprinkle it out there, the NFL becomes aware of that conversation, and then they start making some of those calls and throwing those flags. Phil Jackson, great Lakers coach, would do this. And aren't you wearing a Lakers shirt? Yeah, Kobe, right? So Phil Jackson would do this way back in the day. I was talking to Nick Lopez, one of our new hires here. He's the Cowboys fan who I was alluding to. And Phil Jackson would do this throughout playoff series when he was coaching the Lakers. And he would say, with the Lakers, with Kobe, Shaq, with Michael Jackson, when he was the coach of the Bulls, he would publicly mention in post-game press conferences, hey, this foul wasn't called. That foul wasn't called. This is ridiculous. How is this happening? It's blatant. And then what would happen in the next game? The whistle would be on the side of the Bulls or the Lakers. All right, we have 233 people kicking it. We have 130 likes here on the show. As you come in here, continue to smash that thumbs up icon, like the video, recent commenter club. I see Cool Rain's Daily Dose of Weirdness all in the chat. Trey Lasato, I see you as well. There's so much to get to, so let's waste no time, and let's start the official show right now. So the Philadelphia Eagles are the hottest team in the National Football League, having won 8 games in a row, a lot of them in convincing fashion. And on Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field, the Eagles will play host to the Carolina Panthers, searching for their 9th straight victory. You're watching Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Thanks for being here with us. And coming up, we're going to preview this game against Carolina. The stage is set for this Week 14 game. Sunday, December 8th is when it all goes down. Can't believe we're already a week into December at this point. Once this game gets underway, kickoff is slated for 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at the Lincoln South Philadelphia. The place is going to be rocking. If you're tailgating in the K-Lot prior to the game, have fun. Tune into our watch party. We'll be doing a pregame show. The Eagles are minus 13-point favorites, so nearly 2 touchdown favorites in this game, giving 13 to Carolina, and the over-under at 46 even. And speaking of that watch party, Eagles-Panthers live right here on Eagles Now. The show gets started at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, so be sure to hit that sub button and hit that bell icon, turn on your notifications. Therefore, anytime we go live, anytime we push out a show, you'll be notified, and we hit you with daily and year-round coverage of the Birds. We really appreciate your support. What we do would not be possible without all of you. So let's start here. This is pretty exciting. It's Week 14. Philadelphia, number 2 seed in the NFC. They are atop the NFC East, and Philadelphia can clinch a playoff spot on Sunday against Carolina. There are 10 ways in which the Eagles can make this happen. Number 1, Eagles win and the Falcons lose or they tie, and then the Seahawks and Cardinals tie. Number 2, Eagles win and Falcons loss or tie, and the Cardinals lose and the Rams lose or tie. Number 3, Eagles win, Falcons loss or tie, and a Cardinals loss and a Lions win or tie. Number 4, Eagles win and a Buccaneers loss or tie, and Seahawks Cardinals tie. Number 5, Eagles win and Buccaneers loss or tie, Cardinals loss and Rams loss or tie. Number 6, Eagles win, Buccaneers loss or tie, and Cardinals loss or Lions win or tie. Number 7, Eagles tie and Falcons loss and Seahawks Cardinals tie. Number 8, Eagles tie and Falcons loss and Cardinals loss and Rams loss or tie. Number 9, Eagles tie, Buccaneers loss, and Seahawks Cardinals tie. And then lastly, number 10, Eagles tie, Buccaneers loss, and Cardinals loss, and Rams loss or tie. I know it's a mouthful. Screenshot that, record it, but that is how the Philadelphia Eagles can clinch a playoff spot on Sunday. As for the NFC playoff picture, things are looking pretty for the Birds. Now, a game that we want to keep in mind here is that great Thursday night matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. We are recording this show on Wednesday, December 4th. The Lions, as of this recording, number 1 seed in the NFC at 11-1. One game ahead of Philadelphia at 10-2. Two hottest teams in football right now. You have the Seahawks. They've won 3 games in a row atop the NFC West in the wild NFC West at 7-5. Atlanta Falcons not playing good football. Kirk Cousins just threw 4 picks against the Chargers. They're 6-6. They haven't been able to run away with the division, and so Tampa Bay is still in it, but the Falcons and Buccaneers have already played twice, and the Falcons won both those games. So they own the tiebreaker in a pretty convincing fashion. Then you have the 3 wildcard teams because the NFC North is probably the best division in football this year, top to bottom. Even the Bears, last place in the NFC North, are very competitive. You have the Vikings in that 5th hole at 10-2. The Packers at 9-3. A win against the Lions would do them a lot of favors. And then you have the Commanders after they dump truck the Titans, still in that 7th spot at 8-5. Other teams in the mix, 3 teams at 6-6. The aforementioned Bucks, Cardinals, Rams. Niners and Cowboys are 5-7. I think they're both cooked. And I did say, Eagles sitting pretty atop the NFC East. I don't envision a scenario in how the Eagles lose their lead in this division. They should win the NFC East for the second time in 3 years. They're 10-2, 2 games ahead of Washington in the win column, 3 in the loss column. Cowboys have won 2 games in a row, but they're 5 games back of Philadelphia at 5-7. And how about those New York Giants? Maybe the worst team in football. They've lost 7 games in a row, 8 games in a row. Either way, they stink. In this game, for Philadelphia, you cannot take Carolina lightly. The Panthers are feisty. They are well coached. They've improved. And they're much more competitive now than they've been in previous years. Do not let their 3-9 record fool you. Look at what the Panthers have done in the last 5 ball games. 28-14 loss on the road against Denver. Denver much improved. You go to Mile High. Oxygen not in your favor. Maybe a little bit of a funky smell in the air at times. The real ones know. And the Panthers lost that game by 2 touchdowns. They beat the Saints by 1. They beat the Giants in overtime overseas by 3. They only lost to the Chiefs by a field goal a couple of weeks ago. And that was a really competitive ball game. And then Bryce Young threw a go-ahead touchdown late in the game against the Buccaneers, but they did lose that game against a team that's had Philadelphia's number, 26-23 in overtime. So a lot of close games here, good performances, and some solid wins. And Bryce Young has really improved. Rookie coach Dave Canales, who used to be the Buccaneers OC last year, really maximized Baker Mayfield, benched Young for veteran Andy Dalton after just 2 games in which he had a 44.1 passer rating. The 23-year-old has completed 60.4% of his passes for more than 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 picks. None, though, in the past 3 games, while going 2 for 3 in the 5 starts since. And Young got that other opportunity to lead the Panthers, and he's played a lot better football. What stands out about Carolina right now, the improvements of Bryce Young. So bad to start the year, so bad last year, but over the last couple of games, has he found something? It's incredible how confidence can go a long way in sports, in life, in a relationship, in business. The Panthers have also invested a lot in the offensive line, and that has paid off and done a lot of dividends for this football team. Chuba Hubbard, he's a good running back, and I know that the Panthers drafted a running back in the second round, Jonathan Brooks out of Texas, but Chuba Hubbard has been looking really good as the rookie running back hasn't been able to play yet coming off a knee injury. This is also a well-coached team as compared to previous years. They play hard, and they're scrappy. What stands out about Philadelphia? They are rolling right now. 8-game winning streak, number one rushing offense in the National Football League, averaging nearly 200 yards rushing per ball game. Jalen Hurts is playing really clean football during these last 2 months in which Philadelphia has been lossless. The defense has been dominant, and there's a special vibe around this team. Last year, that dark cloud was hovering over Philadelphia. So much bad body language, people sulking, bad energy on the sideline. This year, that has changed, though. The coaches, you see it. The players, they're rallying around one another. They're hanging out a lot. People are smiling. Now, winning does that, but playing better football does that as well. As for the Eagles' injury report, we'll continue to monitor this throughout the week. Reed Blankenship did not participate in practice on Wednesday because of that concussion that he suffered against the Ravens. That would be a big loss for Philadelphia because he's been a game-changing player coming through in clutch moments, but also one of the top safeties in the NFL this year. Looks like Dallas Goedert is going to be week to week and maybe miss a few games. He's potentially a candidate for IR. The Eagles did sign C.J. Uzomah to the active roster. That could indicate that Goedert could go on IR with a knee injury that he suffered against Baltimore. Devontae Smith, full participant in practice on Wednesday, was very close to playing against the Ravens. Looks like he will play one of the top number 2 wide receivers in the game. And then Darius Slay with that concussion and Johnny Wilson with the hamstring injury present on the practice field on Wednesday. Now, coming up next, we're going to go through my keys to the game, matchups to watch, and what the Eagles have to do to win their 9th straight ball game. But first, where are you at pertaining to this matchup? Let your voices be heard down in the comment section right now. Who you got? CAR for Carolina, PHI for Philadelphia. I'll unveil my score prediction coming up here at the end of the show. But first, let's hit our sponsor, our friends at Game Time. I was hanging out over the weekend, and I was watching NFL football during Thanksgiving. It was so cool to see some families going to some NFL games on the Thanksgiving slate. And then Friday, I'm watching Raiders, Chiefs, very cool environment at Arrowhead Stadium. And then Friday night, how about the twists and the turns of that Georgia Tech game going 8 overtimes? And then I wake up on Saturday, and I'm watching Michigan, Ohio State. What an awesome atmosphere in the Horseshoe. And then later that night, one of the priciest tickets in recent memory, Texas A&M in College Station. If you want to be a part of a great atmosphere like that, download the Game Time app. It really is one of one, both the atmospheres, but also this app. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And what Game Time does that's very unique, they specialize in last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. I love how you can see the vantage point and the price point from your seats, but if you want the bird's eye view here, shout out to the Birds, you can get the bird's eye view of Lincoln Financial Field for this Eagles-Panthers game coming up on Sunday. If you're very specific about what yard line you want to sit at, that's your view right there. You can pay with Venmo, and right now when you download the app and you create an account and you use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, you get $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. What time is it? Game time. We move forward with our preview here. Coming up, here's what the Philadelphia Eagles have to do to win their 9th straight game against Carolina and be victorious in Week 14. We're going through my keys to the game and matchups to watch. Key to the game number 1. I absolutely love the way that Jalen Hurts is playing right now. And some might say, Chase, he's a game manager. He's not doing that much. He's being carried right now by this offensive line, Saquon Barkley, and complementary weapons. Let me counter that by asking you this. Look at what Jalen Hurts has done during this 8-game winning streak. And is this good? 10 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns. That's 20 combined touchdowns and 1 interception during this 8-game winning streak. He's the only player in the history of the NFL to do that. So, again, I ask you that question. Is that good? He's the only player to ever do that. Also, if you have Saquon Barkley and arguably the best offensive line, why would you not run it and cater to your strengths? Jalen Hurts, if he's being a game manager right now, that's fine, because that's how this Eagles team is built, relying on talent, relying on your strengths. That's what good football teams do, because they lean on their identity. But Chase, he doesn't have to throw. Eagles have arguably the best offensive line in football, and Saquon is the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. So smart football is when you lean on your pillars as a football team, and that's what Philadelphia is doing. And when Jalen Hurts has had to make throws, he's been able to do that, and he's making good decisions and not turning it over. Remember early in the year, Hurts is killing this team right now. He can't stop coughing it up. Fumbles left, interceptions right. He's wiped that away, and he's cleaned that up with this game, and it's been huge during this 8-game winning streak. And Jalen Hurts' dual threat ability makes him unique. Those 20 total touchdowns and 1 pick, that's excellent football right there, and he's a big reason why the Birds are rolling. And look, if you're going to talk about Josh Allen being an MVP candidate, let's stack up Hurts' numbers with Allen's numbers. Completion percentage goes to Hurts. Passing yards, slight edge to Allen. Rushing yards, edge to Hurts. Total touchdowns, both with 26. Passer rating, Hurts, 101.8, 100.3 for Josh Allen. Allen might have more attempts, but the point here being, Hurts deserves to be in that MVP consideration. There's also this. When talking about Carolina, their defensive front is not good. And they can't rush the quarterback or apply pressure on the quarterback. And so this Eagles offensive line and Hurts should be able to eat. Carolina has 21 sacks. It's 29th among 32 teams in the NFL. Key to the game number 2. Eagles defensive line against this Panthers offensive line. This Panthers offensive line last year, straight up abysmal. This year, they've been a lot better. That's evidenced by Chuba Hubbard having a good year and Bryce Young being more comfortable when he drops back to sling it. This Panthers offensive line, left to right, Ikem Ekwonu at left tackle, Damian Lewis at left guard, Cade Mays at center, Robert Hunt at right guard. He got a big deal in free agency this offseason. And then Taylor Moton, who's been very durable at right tackle. But Philadelphia in the trenches, they're going to provide a big test for that Carolina front. Josh Sweat now has 8 sacks. Jalen Carter has 4.5. He's been one of the highest graded defensive tackles in the game. Jordan Davis getting better and better over the last couple of weeks. Milton Williams having a career year and a contract year. And then Nolan Smith has 4.5 sacks in his last 8 games. He's really starting to come on. And I think that Philadelphia and Vic Fangio specifically could get exotic up front, twists, stunts, gains. Blur the vision line for Bryce Young. Try to confuse him. Dial up some blitzes from time to time. Involve Jalen Hunt, who had a good kind of extended debut last week. Send home to Kobe Dean and Zach Bond on some of those blitzes. Throw the kitchen sink at Bryce Young. The offensive line might be good, but his wide receiver talent is not good, and I think Philadelphia's front can overpower Carolina in this football game. Key to the game number 3. Eagles defensive backs have an opportunity to shine. All year, Quinyon Mitchell has been able to shine. One of the top overall corners in the game and the best corner in this draft class. The second best corner in this draft class, Cooper DeJean, who's also one of the top corners in the game. And the receiver talent for Carolina is not good, and this is an area that they really have to emphasize, especially if they want to give Bryce Young a year 3 as this team starter. And keep in mind, it's a pretty weak quarterback class here in the 2025 class. You have David Moore, Xavier Legette, the rookie. I like him, but he's a young player. And then you have Adam Thielen, the veteran out of the slot. He's a dependable player for Bryce Young, but the high-level talent really isn't there. They don't have that preeminent wide receiver, nor is the depth that good. And so if the Eagles up front, especially without blitzing, can get pressure on Bryce Young, the back end should be able to have a field day. And for a young quarterback in a raucous Lincoln Financial Field, it could get loud. He could get pressured into making some mistakes. Philadelphia also has to stop the run and force Bryce Young to throw. If the Eagles are able to be successful in stopping the run and Carolina is pigeonholed into having the throw, this is when this Eagles team, which has been excellent as far as generating turnovers during this 8-game winning streak, could really turn the momentum of this game and run away with it. Chuba Hubbard having a really, really good year. 189 carries, 919 yards, 7 touchdowns, along at 38. Keep in mind that Miles Sanders signed with Carolina last year, the former Eagle, after that career year in 2022. There was never any space or running lanes for him. He really struggled to have success running the football. So it's pretty impressive that with some of those offensive line changes, Chuba Hubbard has been able to have a really good year. Sanders, by the way, on IR. He got hurt in that overseas game against the Giants. Lastly, key to the game number 5. Is this a game where the Eagles might have to manage Saquon Barkley a little bit? He's had a fantastic year, but keep in mind what the Eagles have ahead of them. Super Bowl aspirations, trying to get that number 1 seed, trying to keep Saquon Barkley healthy. Philadelphia also has the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up in Week 15. They should be able to handle Carolina here, and I don't know if Saquon Barkley's workload should be that high in this football game. The Panthers also have a bad secondary. Devontae Smith looks as though he's going to be coming back, and the Eagles should be able to have success on the ground without having to give Saquon Barkley 25 to 30 carries. He has 246 carries this year, leads the NFL. Nearly 1,500 yards, leads the NFL. Yards per carry is 6.1, number 1 in the NFL. Yards per game rushing, 124.9 per matchup on average, leads the NFL, and he has 13 total touchdowns. You look at the NFL MVP odds, Saquon, number 2 right now. Josh Allen, minus 210. Saquon Barkley, plus 300. Lamar, after that Eagles loss, dropping to 11-1. Jared Goff, 11-1 as well. And then Patrick Mahomes at plus 2,000. NFL Offensive Player of the Year odds. This has really become a non-quarterback award because non-quarterbacks don't really win MVP anymore. Saquon, minus 5,000. So the large favorite there to win NFL OPOY. Derrick Henry at 4-1. Jamar Chase, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson rounding out that list. But is Kellen Moore going to be able to help himself? He has this uber-talented back. Saquon Barkley has been so special this year. And while the Panthers secondary is not good, they're not good against the run either. 27th in yards per rush at 4.8 per carry. 32nd in rushes per game. So teams are running it the most against Carolina. 34.7 attempts on average per game. And they're dead last in rushing yards per game at 166.8. Again, could be a game, though, where Kenneth Gainwell and Will Shipley get some carries. As for how the Eagles stack up, they are now 7th in points per game, 26.7. 4th in yards per game, just a tick under 378. 9th in yards per play. 9th on third downs. 13th in the red zone. They got to get a little bit better capitalizing with touchdowns in the red area, especially as we approach the playoffs. And in the playoffs, when they take on some really good teams, defensively, number 1 defense during this winning streak. Number 4 now season long in points per game. Number 1 in yards per game. Number 1 in yards per play. Number 2 on third downs. And number 5 in the red zone. As for how Carolina stacks up, it's not pretty, but again, this is year 1 of a rebuild with this new regime. 30th in points per game, 30th in yards per game, 24th in yards per play, 27th on third downs, 17th in the red zone. Then you flip to their defense, 32nd in points per game, 31st in yards per game, 28th in yards per play, 32nd on third downs, and 25th in the red area. So with that, predict the score. Panthers on the road against the Eagles. The numbers, the line favoring the Birds. And I'm favoring the Birds as well. Minus 13 is a big number. I think the Eagles are going to be right on it. The Panthers are giving up about 30 points per ball game. I think the Eagles reach that number. This defense plays very well. Carolina gets that garbage time touchdown to make the scoreboard look closer than the game actually indicated. My final score, 30-17. Spilled Milk, $2 super chat. Get to see the Birds beat the Panthers on my birthday. Happy early birthday to you. And how about this? We had 2 big super chats come in. The first one, Mike Persia See what happens when you have coordinators that actually know what they're doing. Vic and Kellen got these youngsters rolling. What did I say before the year? One of the biggest changes for the Eagles, in my opinion, was the fact that going into this year, they were going to be much better coached. You went from Sean Desai and Matt Patricia and Brian Johnson, very inexperienced outside of Patricia, but Patricia's a stiff, to Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. Massive difference. So, Mike, thank you for that. We're going to celebrate. Joe Lord with the $5 super chat. The Hurts slander needs to stop. His stats right up there with the MVP frontrunner, Allen, and the GOAT Mahomes. Winning is a stat, and Jalen wins go Birds. It's so funny. People will say, quarterback wins are not a stat, yet we literally judge quarterbacks on Super Bowl victories. Joe Montana, Tom Brady, looked at as two of the best quarterbacks of all time. Why? Winning, right? Patrick Mahomes, he now has 3 rings. He's a champion. He's won a lot. Dan Marino, what's missing on his resume? Super Bowl. Why is Donovan McNabb going to be in the Hall of Fame? He never won a Super Bowl. Why is Eli Manning going to be in the Hall of Fame? Won those 2 rings. So winning is a quarterback stat in the most important position in all of sports. And then Dennis Designs, a $50 super chat. Hey guys, is Sydney playing? Go Blankenship. And I was happy to see Jordan Davis playing well. Maddox should never be on the field again. Go Birds. I tweeted that. I had said when he got burnt early in that game, why is Avonte Maddox on the field? Not sure about Sidney Brown. We will see. Reed Blankenship, if he can't go, hopefully Sidney can play. Tristan McCullum is the top backup safety at this point. And yet, Jordan Davis has really started to play very good football over the last couple of weeks. And so, we're at $136 in super chats just like that. I had said every 20 that we get, going to do the Eagles chant. Every 50 total, no one likes us. $100 total. The new guys have to come on camera and sing the Eagles fight song. We'll do that after our 4th segment, which is our mailbag, so stay tuned for that. And if we get to 200 in total, I'm doing a beer boot. 3 beers, 1 boot. We are at 137 right now. So right now, we'll give you a E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles! And no one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. No one likes us. We don't care. No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're the Eagles, the fucking Eagles. No one likes us. We don't care. E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles! So that right there was for Dennis Designs and then Mike Persia. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for those 50s. And then after segment number 4, after our mailbag, the new guys will come up. Again, if you're just joining us, one's a Cowboys fan, one's a Patriots fan, and they will be forced into singing the Fly Eagles Fly Fight song. Speaking of that mailbag, hashtag Eagles, or send in a super chat. Get those questions in right now. Therefore, Chip can start to accumulate those.
Yep.
And we will move forward with segment number 2 as we take a look at the Eagles' playoff path and clinching scenarios. Dennis Designs, I want to see the boot. Help me. Somebody's got to help Dennis. And Mike, for that matter. They both sent in the 50s. We're at 138 right now after Philly Prods sent in that $2 super chat. I don't like Britton Covey as a receiver at all. Well, the Eagles had to use him because Devontae Smith and Johnny Wilson were out. Paris Campbell was elevated and signed to the active roster. And so the Eagles were very, very light at that wide receiver spot against Baltimore. Still got that dub. All right, segment number 2 coming up right now. Let's get to stepping and let's do it. Hey there, welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, I greatly appreciate all of you for making today's edition of Eagles Now a part of your day. Coming up, Eagles clinching scenarios as Philadelphia can clinch a playoff spot on Sunday. We're going to take a gander at the Eagles' remaining schedule to see how things are shaking out over the final 5 weeks and the Eagles' path to get the number 1 seed and home field advantage in the NFC. Before we dive in, we continue our path to 100,000 subscribers. Right now, 93,172 real ones worldwide are subscribed to this program. And we want that silver plaque from YouTube. As you can see with the numbers here to my right, we're 6,826 people away from that number. So hit that sub button right now, and I promise you, you'll love our coverage because it comes your way every single day here on this channel. All right, let's begin with this. The Eagles can clinch a playoff spot here in Week 14. And there are 10 different scenarios that I want to lay out for everybody. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but I want to give you that information because we want to inform you here on this show. It's part of my job. So, scenario number 1, Eagles win, Falcons loss or tie, Seahawks Cardinals tie. Number 2, Eagles win and Falcons loss or tie, and Cardinals loss and Rams loss or tie. Number 3, Eagles win and Falcons loss or tie, and Cardinals loss or Lions win or tie. Number 4, Eagles win and Buccaneers loss or tie, and Seahawks Cardinals tie. Number 5, Eagles win and Buccaneers loss or tie, and Cardinals loss and Rams loss or tie. Number 6, Eagles win and Buccaneers loss or tie, and Cardinals loss and Lions win or tie. Number 7, Eagles tie and Falcons loss, and Seahawks Cardinals tie. We're almost at the finish line. Number 8, Eagles tie and Falcons loss, and Cardinals loss and Rams loss or tie. Number 9, Eagles tie and Buccaneers loss, and Seahawks Cardinals tie. Number 10, Eagles tie and Buccaneers loss, and Cardinals loss and Rams loss or tie. So 10 pathways right there for how Philadelphia can clinch a playoff spot this weekend here in Week 14. And it doesn't just come down to Philadelphia catching that victory against Carolina. So today's poll question is this. This will be the pinned comment on today's Eagles Now. I want to hear from you down in the comment section. What seed in the NFC will the Eagles get? Let me know right now. This might help you. NFC playoff picture. Keep in mind that the Lions and Packers will play in a much anticipated Thursday night football game. The Lions right now, number 1 seed in the conference, 11-1. Philadelphia, 2 spot, 10-2. Seattle Seahawks, they've won 3 games in a row, 7-5 atop the NFC West. The Atlanta Falcons, maybe the worst division in football outside of the AFC South, 6-6. The Vikings, 10-2, a wild card team. The Packers, 9-3 in that 6 hole. And then the last wild card team, the Washington Commanders there at 8-5. And so Philadelphia, I think for sure, is going to win this division. I don't envision, with how talented this team is, how well they are playing, the remaining Eagles schedule, them going on a collapse like they had during the 2023 campaign in which they pissed down their leg and lost 6 of their final 7 games. And they have some wiggle room here. Another game against Washington, but also they're 2 games up in the win column and 3 games up in the loss column. That aforementioned huge matchup on Thursday Night Football. The NFC North, best division in football, most competitive division in football. Even the Chicago Bears are a lot better than what their record indicates. They're in last place in the NFC North, yet they nearly beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. And if it weren't for the fraud that is Matt Eberflus for mismanaging those games at the end of those ball games the last 3 weeks, the Bears could be in the wild card hunt. And so this huge matchup on Thursday Night Football could determine how the number 1 seed shakes out by season's end, how the NFC North shakes out, but also it has wild card implications as well, because I do think 3 teams from that division are going to be in the playoffs. A lot more to get to here on the program, but first, got to give a shout out to our friends at DraftKings for making today's Eagles Now possible. We want DraftKings to be a longtime sponsor here at Chat Sports and on Eagles Now. You can help make that happen by plugging in the code SixersChat after you download the app and create an account. And right now, when you use the code SixersChat and you bet $5, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time here, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. And naturally, here are some DraftKings odds. The Birds, -12. Some other books have the Eagles at -13. So that point could end up going a long way if you lay those wagers down. The over-under at 46. I kind of like this. Jalen Hurts, 2+ touchdowns. He's been so good at running it and throwing it. 20 combined touchdowns, 10 passing, 10 rushing during the Eagles' 8-game winning streak, +265. Odds and lines subject to change. As for the Eagles' remaining schedule, game on Sunday against Carolina in Week 14, then a great in-state rivalry game against a very good Pittsburgh Steelers team, Week 15 at the Link. That could be potential Super Bowl 59 preview. I think people are sleeping on Pittsburgh a little bit. Russell Wilson's been playing very well. That defense is awesome. Good run game, good pass game, good all-around team, and very well coached with Mike Tomlin, looking for his first playoff win in 9 seasons. Week 16, Eagles will go on the road to play the Commanders. Week 17, they welcome the Dallas Cowboys and Cooper Rush to the Link. And then Week 18 against the New York Giants. So you're looking at the schedule here. Philadelphia, 4 home games after all of the travel that they've done early this year. And the one road game, it's right down I-95 to the DMV to take on Washington. The Lions' schedule, kind of difficult, but they do have some of these marquee games at home. And going to Ford Field, now that the Lions are actually good, difficult place to play. Thursday night against Green Bay. Huge game in the NFC. Week 15, they're taking on a Bills team that I think is the top team in the AFC. Week 16, on the road against the Bears. Jared Goff does not play well in cold weather or outdoors. Week 17, on the road against the Niners. I think the Niners might tank, so might be an easy dub for Detroit. And then Week 18 against the Vikings. As for the Vikings, Week 14, they will host the Atlanta Falcons, then host the Chicago Bears in Week 15, then go on the road, Pacific Northwest, to play a good Seattle team that is starting to find its groove. Week 17, monster game against Green Bay, and then Week 18 on the road against the Lions. These 2 games here, Week 17, Week 18, could decide the division, could decide some wild card spots. Shoot, it could decide home field advantage in the NFC. The Packers' remaining schedule, Thursday night on the road against Detroit, Week 15 on the road against Seattle, Week 16 against the Saints, Week 17 on the road against the Vikings, and then Week 18 against the Bears. So these NFC North teams, a lot of meat on the bone as far as some divisional matchups the final 5 weeks of the year. Things could get crazy the final month and change here in the regular season. And these teams have some losable games, which could open up a pathway for Philadelphia to get that number 1 seed and home field advantage in the NFC. And if you have to come to the city of brotherly love for an NFC championship game or divisional round game or a wild card game, it's not an easy place to play. Spam it if you want home field advantage at the Link. Type Go Birds down in the comments section. 2004, made it to the Super Bowl, NFC title game. I was there against the Falcons and Michael Vick at the Link. 2017, Eagles-Vikings, NFC title game at the Link. 2022, NFC title game against the Niners at the Link. Birds fare well in the Final Four inside the friendly confines. Oh! Dennis Designs a $50 super chat. EAGLES Eagles. All right, so we're $12 away from a beer boot for me. And we already have to have the new guys come on and sing the Eagles fight song. And we'll do that after segment number 4. So $12 away from that Dennis Designs beer boot. He's already sent in 250 pieces. So somebody has to help him out. Dennis, you're not allowed to send in any more super chats.
He wants that boot.
And here's that super chat menu right there. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Come on. I want a clean sweep. I want a clean sweep. I have everything here.
Yeah. Every 20. Eagles. We sung No One Likes Us. New guys have to sing the fight song. 200. That's the one we have to check off. Clean sweep.
No. Do y'all know it by heart?
No. We'll pull up the lyrics.
I'm not going to say if I do or don't. I mean, I did live in Pennsylvania for 2 years.
It goes like this. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight, score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. EAGLES Eagles! All right, I'll make a deal with the people. If we get another $50 super chat, the new guys will come on, again, if you're just joining us, Cowboys fan, Patriots fan, and sing the Eagles fight song after this segment, which is segment number 3, instead of after segment number 4. So let's make it happen. All right, segment number 3 coming up. 2 moves that have changed the complexion of this Eagles organization. What are those 2 moves? We're about to dive in.
And again, that last segment we're doing is going to be a mailbag, so make sure to get those questions in. We have a few super chats that will show. If you send in a super chat, your question will be answered at the start of the show. Otherwise, use hashtag Eagles. Use a couple more. We have like daily dose. I don't know what you got going on, man. He put hashtag Eagles. What is the prediction? Like 12 times. I don't know what's going on. Outside of that, we only have a few questions.
We got it. Yeah, if we don't get enough questions, we won't do a mailbag. So it's on you. You want us to stay live longer? Let's get it.
Carol, ask your question again, but you put a space. You put a space between hashtag and Eagles. Just get rid of that, and then it'll come through. Otherwise, I can't pop it up for you, Carol.
Carol knows what to do. You're a legendary real one. All right. Segment number 3. About to get rocking and rolling. 2 moves that have drastically changed things for this Eagles organization. X2 Prod, Fly Giants Fly. How those Giants doing? Haven't won a game in 2 months. All right, here we go. Segment number 3. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports, Chase Sr. here with you. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic weekend. I'm going to talk about 2 moves that have changed things drastically for the Philadelphia Eagles, in which the Birds made during the offseason. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek as to what we're talking about on today's show, because this is today's poll question. What was the better, more significant move for this team? Was it hiring Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator, type VF? Was it the signing of Saquon Barkley, type SB? We're really going to get a peek as to what people think is more important, offense or defense. Let me know down in the comment section right now. Let's begin with this man right here, the Dunmore, northeastern Pennsylvania native who grew up a Philadelphia sports fan, who's now a legendary coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, because what he's doing with this team and the turnaround that we've witnessed is indeed spectacular, and it's under the definition of legendary. It really is wild and incredible to see what we've witnessed this year with Vic Fangio calling the plays, running this defensive system, for this Philadelphia Eagles defense. And I put together my guide for what I look for a good defense. If I were running an organization, if I were scouting a team, if I were Howie Roseman in his general manager perch, and I'm looking at what the Eagles are doing, or I'm looking at what my football team is doing, I want my defense to check all of these boxes. Of course, first and foremost, you need good production. You need creativity and adjustments. You can't be predictable as a defense. Sometimes you have to throw the kitchen sink at the offense. You have to be unpredictable, and you have to have some new wrinkles. And Vic Fangio has been able to do that this year. No scheme breakdowns on the back end. If you have scheme breakdowns on the back end, that is a sign of bad coaching because it means, and it shows on tape, the players don't know what to do, and they're not in the right positions to have success. Speaking of that, no communication miscues. How impressive is it this year compared to last year? How this Eagles defense and the defensive players know where to be and they communicate with all of this pre-snap motion that we see and the creativity that we see from these modern offensive minds. They always seem to be in a right position to make plays and in the right spot at the right time. We flip the page. Good tackling. Eagles were an awful tackling unit last year. This year, everybody's swarming to the rock. You have to be good on third downs and in the red zone. That's what I call the money areas and on money downs. If teams continue to convert on third downs, they move the chains, they wear your defense down, it keeps your offense stale on the sideline, and if they capitalize in the red zone, of course, it's a big difference between 3 points and 7 points if they're able to score touchdowns. You have to be stout against the run and the pass. I want to see player development. We have seen that this year for this Eagles team. These young players, they've taken those leaps. These diamonds in the rough like Zach Bond, they've turned into really good players. That comes down to coaching, both from the defensive coordinator, but the position coaches that he hires all across this defense. And then also, as a great coach, you want to maximize personnel. And Vic Fangio has been able to maximize players on this Eagles defense. They've been so sound at all three levels. Fangio deserves credit for that. And look at these defensive numbers from poll to poll, start to where we are right now, heading into Week 14. Philadelphia's defense, 4th in points per game at 18.2, number 1 in yards per game, 282.8. In today's modern era of offensive football, it's just wild. Number 1 in yards per play at 4.8, number 2 on third downs, number 5 in the red zone. And then you look at how drastically things have changed from last year to the 2024 campaign. I'm not even kidding. Last year, and I've said this a few times on the show, one of the worst defensive units I have ever seen in my entire existence of watching football. And I fell in love with this game when I was like 4 years old back in 1996. I aged myself, but it gives you some context. In 2023, the Eagles were 26th in yards per game allowed defensively, 25th in yards per play, 30th on third downs. They couldn't get off the field. They couldn't get stops in the red zone. 30th in red zone touchdown percentage, 24th in sack percentage. In 2024, they are 1st in yards per game. 25 team improvement right there. 2nd in yards per play, improved by 23. They are 2nd on third downs, 5th in the red zone, and 7th in sack percentage. Unbelievable. Really, unbelievable. I don't like using that word because a lot of things are believable. I did not envision this much of a turnaround happening so quickly. I thought that they were going to be at least middle of the pack, which would have been better because then you still lean on that offense, but they have been superb. And then the important statistic of points per game allowed. In 2023, the Birds gave up 23.6 points per game. That was 28th in the league. Now, in a league where games are often decided by one score or less, it's dropped down by 5.5 points to 18.2. That's number 4 in the National Football League. And how about this? Since coming out of the bye week, what did I mention a little bit earlier? Sign of a good defense and a great defensive coordinator. Adjustments. Maximizing personnel. Having your defense humming. Everybody running to the football. These are the Eagles' defensive rankings since the bye week. And their bye week was in Week 5. So since Week 6, that Cleveland Browns game. 1st in defensive points per game. 13.4 for 2 months straight. 1st in total defense. 1st in yards per play. 1st in passing defense. 1st in yards per pass allowed. 1st in 3-and-out percentage. 1st in sacks. Ladies and gentlemen, they have 30 sacks in 8 games. First in sack percentage, naturally. First in forced fumbles, producing turnovers, winning the plus-minus, huge in determining games, another sign of a good defense, and second in passer rating allowed. You think we're done? Haha, no. Sound like John Gruden there. Third and third down defense, fifth in rushing defense, and fifth in takeaways. Can you believe what we're seeing? This is not possible without Vic Fangio. And so Howie Roseman deserves credit for the signing. Nick Sirianni deserves credit for this hiring as well. And Fangio's mentality, he comes from Dunmore, an old school iron railroad town. It's gritty up in northeastern Pennsylvania. It's a lunch pail to work type of mentality, just like in Philadelphia. That might not work in Miami, where it's always 85 degrees, where you get done work and you go to the beach. You get the vitamin D with the sunshine, good weather all the time. Philadelphia is not Miami. And so Vic Fangio is a perfect fit for the Eagles and their history as an organization, but how they're constructed roster-wise and how they like to play football. Bully ball and smash mouth. And this Eagles defensive core, they could be around for years to come. Cooper DeJean is only 21. Jalen Carter is only 23. Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalix Hunt, Nakobe Dean, also 23. Jordan Davis, 24. Milton Williams, 25. Reed Blankenship, 25. And we'll see what happens with Milton Williams after this year because he is set to be a free agent. Today's Eagles Now, sponsored by our friends at Game Time. What time is it? Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, and when you do that, you get $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. You think about creating football content on YouTube, it's a crowded and competitive marketplace. The ticketing industry, it's a crowded and competitive marketplace. But this is why Game Time sets itself above everybody else. Best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. They have flash deals and zone deals. The technology within this app is awesome. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect once you arrive at the stadium. And I think it's so awesome how you can literally see the viewpoint and the price point behind the seats that you will be purchasing. If you want to go to Eagles Panthers coming up on Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field, plenty of tickets available at all levels. Here's an example of another view that you get. This is that seat map type of view. If you're very specific about what yard line you want to sit at, oh, I want to sit midfield, 200 level. Boom. Tickets available right there. I also suggest that you toggle the all-in pricing tool. Therefore, no surprise fees at checkout. So, one more time, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. First purchase only, and you get $20 off with that purchase. Next up here on the show, how about the 2024 season that Eagles running back Saquon Barkley is having? It's one of the finest all-around offensive seasons that we have ever seen from a skill position player in the history of this organization and in the history of the National Football League. What makes Saquon elite? One-of-one athlete. He is what I call a rare breed. That jump cut ability. You might think that you have him under wraps, you're going to tackle him, boom. Then he's gone, he hits the hole, and he's taking it to the crib for 70. He has patience and explosion. What I like about Saquon and how he runs behind this stout offensive line, he'll wait for the hole to open up. Once he sees it, he explodes through it. Then he has that breakaway speed, the power and agility. He can make you miss, short area quickness, make you miss in a phone booth. He will backwards hurdle you. He has the speed to then have that burst to get it out to the sideline, but then he gets faster as the play develops. I love his dual threat ability. He can catch the ball out of the backfield on wheel routes. He can line up in the slot. He can also run inside, run outside. He can run under center or have success running it out of the shotgun. He's a home run threat anytime he gets his hands on the pill, and his conditioning is great. He gets better as the game progresses. His fourth quarter, second half numbers are flat out dominant, and we've seen it time and time again this year. And what a year that Saquon is having. He's number one in the league in carries with 246, number one in rushing yards with 1,499, Atop all ball carriers in yards per carry at 6.1, number 1 in rushing yards per game at 124.9, and he has 13 total touchdowns. That number could be close to 20 if the Eagles didn't run the brotherly shove so much when they get to the 1 or inside the 1. And as far as Saquon getting stronger, this is pretty nuts. If Saquon Barkley only played in the second half of games this year, he would still be 4th overall in rushing yards in the National Football League. It's crazy. Now, in the first half, his numbers are really good. 117 carries, 517 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns, along a 55. In the second half, 129 carries, so plus 12 there. 982 yards in the second half of ball games this year. Yards per carry goes up by 3.2 yards to 7.6. Touchdowns goes up by 5, and he had those 270-plus yard touchdown runs against the Rams, with that long being 72. There have been a few Eagles over the course of franchise history to receive at least one MVP vote. Saquon's going to get at least one MVP vote. Shoot, he might win it. He's probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year if he stays healthy. Jalen Hurts finished MVP runner-up in 2022. Carson Wentz, the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl without him. Even though he got hurt, he finished 3rd in MVP voting. Probably would have won the award if he stayed upright and healthy. In 2000, Donovan McNabb was the MVP runner-up. 1991, Seth Joyner, 5th in MVP voting. Randall Cunningham, a couple of times, 1990 and in 1988, he was 2nd. Ron Jaworski, the year that the Eagles lost to the Raiders in the Super Bowl, finished 4th. And Harold Carmichael, the great wide receiver, 1979, he finished 6th. Wilbert Montgomery, 8th in 1979. Pete Retzlaff, 4th in 1965. And in 1961, Sonny Jurgensen, he finished 3rd. Anybody watching this show right now who is alive for this? If so, I want you to type me down in the comment section, because that'd be pretty wild, and that means that you're a real one Eagles fan. That is for sure. So will Saquon win NFL MVP? Type W for yes, he'll win it. L for he's going to lose it to a player like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Sound off. Share your opinions with me down in the comments section right now. All right. For those of you watching live, if you want to give me a follow on social media, I'm on X at Chase_Senior. 14,500 followers. I'm on Instagram at Chase_Senior. 34,500 followers. So in addition to the long form content that I do here on YouTube, a lot of Eagles short form content and news and notes and analysis on my social media pages. So give me a holler, say what's up, don't be a stranger, and give me a follow. I appreciate that. Kelly, Gasky, and Ernesto, you were alive in 1960 whatever? Cap. Kelly Knock, you were not alive in the 1960s. I mean, that puts you at least like 70 years old. If so, you're aging like fine wine. Jeff Chipper. Dad. Chips Pops getting us over 200. So the beer boot's coming up. Do you think the Eagles can beat the Commanders again, and Dallas beats the Commanders again, and then they get the wild card, but the Eagles win the Super Bowl? All right, let's break this down. Do you think the Eagles can beat the Commanders again? Dallas beats the Commanders, and they get the wild card, but the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Okay. Chip, do you think there's a scenario? Answer your dad here. Do you think there's a scenario in which the Cowboys, who probably have to win out, get the final wild card spot?
I'm telling you right now.
Think so, Jeremy?
Dad, you're still watching?
You think so?
0%
All right, Jeremy said he thinks so.
chance. Delusional Cowboys fan who's going to have to watch my Eagles win it all this year.
I agree. I don't think it happens.
There's no way.
How about them Cowboys? Jeff, thank you for that. Getting us over 2 bills. And then Dro with the 5. Do you think that Howie will actually do the right thing this time around and pay our all-pro linebacker in Zach Bond? It would be a grave mistake if he doesn't. You can't let him go.
No.
You simply cannot let him go. He's been one of the captains and the leaders of this defense on and off the field. He has been spectacular. Elliott Shore Parks had a good tweet, I think, yesterday of 94 WIP. He put out a Zach Bond contract projection. Let me see what he had here. The AAV was pretty reasonable. He said, my guess for the eventual Zach Bond contract, 3 years, potential out after 2, and then dummy years. It's a Howie Roseman classic. 25 to 28-ish million total. Around $8 million per year, $13 million guaranteed. I mean, if you're getting Bond at $8 million a year, sign me up for that contract right now. Sign me up for that contract right now. So, Joe, I hope so. Howie Roseman, very smart. He would be wise to bring him back. Kelly Gasky and Kelly Knock, both with $5 super chats. Kelly's squared right here. Thank you for the 5 KG and then KN with that 5-piece. Do we have enough questions for a mailbag? Kelly Gasky and Kelly Knock with the Donovan McNabbs.
The people do here. Let's see. Oh, I think it might not be updating. One sec.
We're technically in a good spot if we don't need to do the sack.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
All good. Can we run through some of the hashtag Eagles?
Yeah, we can run through
We'll just run through some of those. We got to all the super chats. We'll run through some of the hashtag Eagles questions that came in. And then, yeah, we got to do the beer boot, 3 beers, 1 boot. And then the new guys have to sing Fly, Eagles, Fly. So, Dennis Designs, do you think that we will see Jordan Davis more in the new fullback this week? Yo, I will say this. Kari Blasingame, he's a good fullback. He sneakily has some pass-catching ability. And, of course, as a fullback, you have to be a good blocker. I think he gets elevated to the active roster. And I do think that we might see him. And Jordan Davis, Vic Fangio said it last week. He's getting better and better and better. I had said it, I think, during yesterday's show. Yo, Jordan Davis, that's the 6'6", 340 that I want to see plugging the running holes and stopping Derrick Henry in his tracks, blowing plays up. And sometimes when you're a big, girthy body like that, sometimes it's not what you do that shows up on the stat sheet that identifies your impact. It's just taking up real estate, collapsing the offensive line, and plugging those run gaps. Main Street Paul. Can the Eagles afford Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown when their contracts are up? Well, they just signed A.J. Brown to a contract extension this offseason, so yes. And then Jalen signed his contract extension going into last year. And so they don't have to revisit that for a couple of seasons. Jeremiah Glenn. So, Chase, if the Eagles and the Lions have the same record, how would the tiebreaker work? So, it would come down to record against familiar opponents and then record against NFC teams. They don't have a head-to-head matchup. And so that's how it would work. How so? All right. Chip's going to pull this up right on the fly. How about it? Brazzy Smacks, all good, man. All good. I saw you in the chat. Eagles ahead. So playoff predictor, the Eagles are ahead.
Okay, yeah, so it would come down to common opponents. That is the determining factor, which are
both lost against the Bucs, which is huge.
Yeah, their common opponents are the Rams, the Bucs, the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Jags. That's why this Packers game is so important.
Yeah, so we need a Packers win.
Because if if the Lions beat the Packers and then lose a different game, say they lose to like the Bears, then they'd be ahead, yeah. So it's common, but we need them to lose this game. Big time. Because they've already beat the Packers once.
Bet.
Root for the Packers.
Root for the Packers. All right, new guys, y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Unfortunately.
So we got past, what was it, $100 in Super Chats for the new guys to sing Fly, Eagles, Fly. And so let me pull up the lyrics here. This is part of their PG initiation. Everybody goes through it. Exactly. All right, here we go. So, we're going to bring on the new Bulls, as we like to say in Philadelphia. This is Brett Alper right here. Just started on Monday by way of Dover, Delaware, and Northeastern Pennsylvania was his previous job. We have Nick Lopez. I'm doing a much better job at this than Chip, that's for sure, because I actually know who my coworkers' names are. By way of Louisiana, and we have a Patriots fan, as you can see, and a Cowboys fan. All right, so we're going to pull up the lyrics here. It might get ugly, but this is part of their welcome to Chat Sports because the people donated, and this is what we have to do. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Fly, Eagles, fly. Look at this face right here. On the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Good sport. Good sport. Thank you, fellas. Thank you, fellas. Knicks and Mets fan. Yeah. We clash. We clash for sure. All right. Good sport for them. I owe the beer boot. So, Chip, you just want to chop it up with the people here for a bit? I'll get that beer boot ready. I'll take that down, and then we'll hop on out of here. Awesome, awesome show on this Wednesday. And we might have to screenshot that because these guys looked absolutely miserable during that. But I'll be right back.
Oh, that's getting out there. Oh, we'll get the recording too. Don't even worry. Don't even worry. That's good stuff. Kelly Gasky. Sing it, boys.
My entire group chat is, well, 3 out of 6 are Eagles fans.
If it happens on air, it's there forever, so.
Yep. Your digital footprint is there forever.
It's always there. Hunter, who's injured for the Eagles? Well, Goddard's probably going to go on IR. He's not going to play. Blankenship's probably not going to play either. Who else? Smitty should be back off that hamstring injury. So it'd be good to get him back. Even against a team like Carolina. Still be good to have him back there. And then, who else is on this injury report here? Oh, yeah, Darius Slay, the concussion. He's been banged up all year. But he should be good to go. Johnny Wilson, hamstring as well. Shouldn't need him too much anyways, but he should be good to go. It's really Reed Blankenship, Dallas Goedert, who probably won't play. Brazzy smacks. Dallas dude should sing it alone. Just saying. What would it take for you to sing it again all by yourself?
A lot more than just $100.
No, we won't do that. We won't do that. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe at some point.
I will shout out Northeastern PA.
Yeah, shout out.
Wilkes-Barre was my town for 2 years.
Look at that. Look at that. Shout out. Shout out to Wilkes-Barre. Shout out to Northeastern PA. Shout out to all my folks back in. Is anyone here from Bucks County? Anyone in the chat? Anyone in the chat know Bucks County? That's where I'm from. Andrew Nathan, you're a Dodgers fan? Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, here we go.
So if you're just joining the show and you're like, what the heck is going on? You look at our Super Chat menu. If we got 50 total, no one likes us. $100, the new guys had to sing the fight song. It was either that or the baby oil. So we went with the Eagles fight song. And then we got past 200 as well, which is the beer boot. The Diddy baby oil. So 3 beers, 1 boot. Thanks for supporting the show. We try to give you some great content. We like to entertain as well. So cheers to everybody. And here we go.
Everyone type chug. Everyone type chug. Sigma Gorilla baby oil? We'll just skip past that. Chug, 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 chug. Let's go.
Clean.
E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles! All right. 3 segs down. Myself and Chip, we'll be live early Sunday. Eagles, Panthers. Can't wait for that game. Best place to experience an Eagles game day outside of being at the actual game. Thanks for all of the real ones for rocking with us. Thanks to Nick and Brett and Chip. I'm Chase Sr. for the Bird Gang. We're out. Peace.